how we disagreed. We said words that were hurtful to each other. And I held grudges.
We've apologized to each other. She's more calm, I'm more calm. So from that point on, I'm like, okay, well, maybe everything's fine. Yeah, the day she's leaving, we're still cuddling on the couch. Like we watched a movie together. We went to breakfast, you know? So that's where the confusion is, because it's like, if you're that angry, why are you so comfortable still?
Because she's angry at you and don't want to be with you, but she still enjoys
what comes with you.
Hey, what's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy KiteZz here with my lovely wife. It's just Alex.
What's up, peoples?
Hey, we were in the middle of recording something else, and then Arlette dropped, and you know, when Arlette dropped, we gotta be on it. You feel me? We a little late, but you know what? We gonna get it on. We gonna get it popping. So today, it's the Eric and Jocelynn catch up with Arlette Amuli. Eric had 2 matches.
Yeah,
remember?
This is the second one.
This is the second chick. All right. So hopefully, this is the one that worked out. Let's find out.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's your host Arlette.
So last time it was Eric that couldn't be in the studio. So this time it's the shorty that can't be in the studio. Okay.
And we are here today with Eric and virtually Jocelynn. Welcome guys. How are we feeling
Hello.
today?
Feeling good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good.
Shout out to
Jocelynn,
Eric,
how are
bro.
you?
The locks is locking.
I'm all right, doing good. Thank you for asking.
Of course. So we did have you guys on episode, gosh, what episode was that? 12?
12, yeah.
Yeah, episode 12 of Pop the Balloon or Find Love, where you guys did end up matching. Okay, so is it going to be a yes for you for her?
Yes.
And is it a yes for you for him?
Yes.
We got a match!
Hopefully it worked out.
Okay, I'll take this mic and you guys can go on up. Oh, look at y'all go. Let's give it up for them, y'all. Let's give it up. And then, so, you know, from that point, Eric, we've had you on a few episodes, so we know quite a bit about you by now. Jocelynn, I think on there, you told us a little bit about yourself. If you want to just let us know a little bit more, like, you know, where you're from, what you like to do, all that good stuff.
Oh, all right. Well, hey you all again. I'm Jocelynn from Prince George's County, Maryland. I'm just a regular girl working a 9 to 5. Not really that interesting.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. And so on the show, we saw like you didn't really get any pop balloons on you. You did all of the popping. And near the last round, it was between Eric and another gentleman, Brian. What kind of made you lean more towards Eric instead of Brian? Because I feel like a lot of people were like,
The roster imposter.
The roster imposter, aka Big Brian.
Oh wait, no, that's. Oh, never mind.
Brian is Smooth Talker.
Yeah, Smooth Talk.
King Smoke
from the ghetto.
From the ghetto.
yeah, I feel like she was vibing with Brian. Like, I don't know if you felt that as well, but what kind of like helped you narrow down your thought process between the two of them?
Brian just didn't seem as genuine. It seemed like he was a flirt, and it didn't really seem like his words had actual meaning behind it. So that was one of the things that made me pop his balloon. Let me see what else. But he was great. The conversation was great. It just didn't seem like the words.
Sorry.
Had value behind it. So that's what led to the process of elimination.
Okay. And then Eric, we kind of saw this time around, you weren't super fake, I guess we could say, but maybe it's a better selection. I don't know. What was it this time around?
You did have a pretty good selection this time for sure. Yeah. So
got it.
That helped.
Okay. That's good to hear. Well, I know everyone just kind of wants to jump right into things already. So obviously, since you guys have matched on the show, have you guys gone on a date? Have you hung out? All that good stuff?
All right, y'all know what to do. Put in the comments right now. If you feel like they got a date, put it in there. If you feel like they didn't get a date, go ahead and put it in there. Just do it for fun, you know. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, man. it helps us out a lot. It does. I
Yeah,
think they did.
multiple
Oh, never mind. I answered it.
dates.
Oh my gosh.
And, yeah. we've hung out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You said multiple.
Multiple dates, yeah.
Oh, Jocelynn, you want to hop in there? Let me know about how the first date went.
The first date was really cool. It was right after we had the recording there. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
Shout out to B-Dubs.
Who chose that spot?
Hey man, out here.
Does everybody else call it B-Dubs, or is that just a California thing?
I don't know, bro. We call it B-Dubs out here. You got two places you go get your chicken wings. You either go to Wingstop or Buffalo Wild Wings. That's it, bro.
Or you go to a grocery
I tried to
store?
take her. I was looking for a nicer restaurant,
Okay.
but I was really impressed with the fact that she was just happy to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, which I think that told me a lot about her initially. You know,
Okay.
it just says that, yeah, you know, I'm just chill and you don't have to try to
Oh, that
impress
was
me.
good.
Okay, so she chose Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, well, she saw it and she was like, yeah, let's just go
Oh,
there. So,
okay. And then so this was right after the shooting, you said?
yeah.
Okay. And then from there, like, how did things go? How'd you guys, like, how was the communication? How'd you go about planning the second date?
Let me let her speak.
Jocelynn?
I'm sorry. So after that, we kept in contact. It was a lot of FaceTiming and a lot of just a lot of communication.
Eric is always dancing.
Yeah, I saw him on he did the little selfie challenge
Yeah,
too.
he did it twice, I think.
Eric is
He's
lit.
always dancing. He's cool.
Eric
He's
is
a
lit.
vibe,
Because we live in
for
different
sure.
states, different time zones, and we also have different schedules as well. So we kept in contact as much as possible. I would call him in the mornings. He would call me between his appointments. Like whenever he was working.
Appointments.
What is it called?
Appointments.
Yeah, so he would call me between. So whenever we had time, we would contact each other, and it worked very well. Our second date was to Dave and Buster's, I believe. I think our second date was Dave and Buster's. He came to Austin, and we had a great time. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like Eric
Cool
is
vibe.
taking the dating thing serious.
We
Because
had our bridal shower there, and your bachelor?
my bachelor party was
Yeah.
at Dave & Buster's. Yeah, Dave & Buster's lit.
How soon after did you go over to Austin?
Well, we matched on the 1st of June.
Okay.
And so we spent 2 weeks on FaceTime getting to know each other, asking
Yeah.
questions and all that stuff. And then I was traveling, working. And so we ended up, I ended up coming to Austin, I think, on the 26th.
Oh, wow.
So-
Okay.
Yeah. Was it 26th? 24th to 26th or so, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, just spent the week beforehand, we were going to do something else.
Okay, so the whole week you were out there in Austin.
Aw.
You guys were kind of like going out, doing different things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be mad if y'all didn't work out.
Okay.
showing
So
all these
David
good
Buster's was one of
selfies.
them that you did out there.
That's what I'm
Dave
saying.
and Buster's was
Like,
the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What any other fun stuff?
Well, she showed me some places that she was fond of. Some place by the, it's like a river. What's the name of that river place that we went to?
It's like Lady Bird Lake. It was like a boardwalk. It was pretty nice. He bought Capri. Capri's like really cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's we're hearing the feedback of the message. Okay.
Yeah.
She's allergic to Capri, by the way.
Uh-oh.
I am.
Oh my gosh, what happened?
I got hives. It was actually really bad.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how allergies work with pets and stuff. like-
Immediately.
Immediately.
wow.
Yeah, like I broke out in hives after Capri like touched me. It was yeah.
Okay, so it was like he had. Sorry, is it a boy or a girl?
That's a girl.
A girl. Okay, so so she had to like touch you in order for that to happen, or was like just like being in the same area.
I really truly it's never happened to me before. Capri,
Oh my
like
gosh.
I don't know how it happened. I was just playing with Capri. Next thing you know, I have like hives all over my arms and my legs. So
Did you have to
She might be
go to
allergic
urgent
to
care or
dogs.
like
I
what?
thugged it out. I thugged it out a little bit. When I went home, I took a Benadryl and was knocked out. So it was cool.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad.
Got it. So that was the first and last time meeting Capri.
Yes. Oh, no. Well, I think you've been around Capri since, right?
Okay.
Probably. I don't know.
you came to the Airbnb to pick me up and stuff, so you would see her at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it happened again, or you popped a Benadryl beforehand?
No, I kept her away.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Aw,
Okay,
that's
so how was the
unfortunate.
time in Austin? Like, how was it? Like the time spending with each other, all that stuff.
It was cool. So I think you were downtown. I don't really want to give like where I live, but he was like downtown.
No, don't.
Yeah, he was a little bit further away from where I was staying. So whenever I got off of work, I would come down and see him. I think we hung out every day for the most part.
Oh.
Yeah, give or take a couple of days. Well, there was one day actually, I think,
One day what?
because you had to go to Houston. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
My life, that's a story for another day. But yeah, I had no, ever since the show aired, a lot of things have been happening. But I did have to go to Houston like one night, and then I came back, and that's the day I didn't see him. But other than that night, yes, I saw him every day.
Like every
Okay.
other day. Wow. Okay.
Hope
Sounds like you guys
everything's
are spending
okay.
a lot of time getting to really know each other, all that good stuff. Okay. And then so the week in Austin.
Right.
After that, have you guys kept communication? How was that going?
Yeah. So about 2 weeks in, I was very excited. We were getting to know each other. I had lists and lists upon lists of questions, and every time I met her up, I would ask her all these questions, just trying to get to know her.
Okay.
And I felt like we had a genuine connection, and it really hit me the fact that she wasn't really interested in like going to like nice places and was just happy to do regular things. So I thought it would be nice to do something special for her.
Okay.
So I asked her if she would like to go on a vacation trip to a European country of her choice.
Oh.
Well, all right then.
And so we ended up, she decided on Santorini because she always wanted to go there. She'd never been
Okay.
there.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so I planned for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So after you guys, you said you.
her body language is making me nervous.
Yeah, it's making me
there's
feel like something
happening.
happened or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
got to know each other, speak all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Right away, you were like, all right, pick a European country.
Well,
Like-
I was already traveling. So
Okay.
I was on the road. I'd been on the road for a month. And so I was nearing the end of it. And I thought it was coincidental that I was ending up in Austin and she lived in Austin. So I was saying at the end of this trip, I also need a break. So,
Okay.
so it just worked out that way. But
Got it.
yeah, I just wanted to, have fun and go out and do something adventurous together.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Santorini, Greece. What made you pick that place?
nice.
Like, and first of all, let me backtrack. Were you shocked that, someone who you just met was asking you like, girl, let me take you out of the country? Like, how was that?
It was definitely a shocking question. I haven't been asked that so early within like knowing a person.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it was a love bomb, but hey, like I'm here for the illusion regardless. But
See, y'all,
You could have said no if you felt that way.
bro, we're not gonna jump. It's only 10 minutes. We're not gonna jump to conclusions on that. But that right there, I'm already not jacking that. That's like, bro, men, you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't. It's like it's
Love
I
bombing
had
would have been
a
like he
great
forced
time.
you to.
Yeah,
he
or
kept
like
pressuring you to do it.
Y'all don't. I would understand love bombing if he was always in your face and always up in your space, but y'all been FaceTiming. He only saw you twice. Like, come on, man.
yeah.
Okay. So I guess obviously at that time, I know you said you don't want to say it was a love bomb, but obviously you were comfortable enough to be like, okay, I'll be okay with going out the country with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then
She
so
like-
once you guys, got to Greece, how was that? Like, first of all, how was traveling together? Because like I know a lot of people are always like, man, traveling with
facial
someone really
expressions,
shows you how.
Yeah,
they-
it's giving me like, it's making me feel uncomfortable, like she a victim or something.
And it feels like she knows something that he's not aware of.
Yeah.
And it's awkward. It's been awkward since she got on the camera.
Yeah.
But
all that stuff. Like, how was that?
That is, to be fair, why I did it.
Okay.
Was because we were getting to know each other, and so I was thinking to myself, let's. It's not to say that we're speeding it up, but it's just to like know for sure.
Okay.
And I've had this experience before, where you travel with someone, and through that experience, you get to really see, the literal shits and the metaphorical shits of who they are, and they get to see you
Watch your
as well.
freaking
And so
mouth.
I think at that point you can make more
Eric
certain
Lowe.
decisions
Yeah.
about to proceed or not
Okay.
to proceed.
So in the beginning, the traveling there, that was good for you guys. Like how, Jocelynn. I guess we'll start with you, Jocelynn. Uh-oh. She's shaking her head.
No, traveling there was great. We weren't really sitting next to each other all the time.
Is
Some
there a reason?
booking error.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But overall, it was a great experience.
What, the
trying to twist her
traveling was a
hair.
great experience, or the whole trip altogether?
Girl,
I'm
you're irritating, bro. Just like if something traumatic happened, like I get it, but bro, this I gotta wait 30 seconds to hear your response. It's starting to get irritating.
It's
bro.
because, and I feel like she's not being
Like-
honest about, like, she's not saying everything because she's leaving so many gaps and
Yeah.
pauses in between. It's leaving room for speculation that something else has happened.
Yeah. And it's like, if there's beef, say there's beef. Like,
I don't know.
Or the whole trip
Remind me
altogether?
of Lauren.
I was specifically talking about like the traveling there part. It was pretty cool. It was nice.
Okay.
It wasn't like any issues traveling there.
Got it. Okay. So now once you guys have gone to Greece, did you guys have like a whole itinerary planned? Like who did the itinerary planning? I feel like you like to do that kind of stuff. Or
I deferred to her. I wanted to
Okay,
I wanted to
good.
give her some options and see what she was into. But I think we tried to keep it loose so that
Okay.
every day would feel to some degree like a
Aw.
new adventure,
okay, so you guys didn't do too many like activities, or you didn't plan too much, kind of.
I had an idea of an activity for each day.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there was definitely food involved. Restaurants,
so.
restaurant dates and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, walk me through the trip. Like, what'd you guys do? How did it go?
Well, the first day we just went to a restaurant down from where we were staying, and we had a very nice apartment overlooking the city. You know, could watch the sunrise, watch the sunset. It was really nice. We went on a boating trip
Dang,
to
that's a
see
good
some
camera.
of the tinier
yeah, it looked like
islands.
Okay.
I'm getting like mixed signals because it looked like it was paradise. It looked like they was happy. They was cheesing. Bro was putting in work. I honestly genuinely feel like Eric is trying really hard.
Maybe she's uncomfortable like talking about
Yeah.
this on the internet, and it kind of got her a little nervous or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but then, no, I agree.
It's just it's
But
leaving
then-
too much room for assumptions.
Yeah.
With her body language and stuff like that.
And
Dang, that is a good camera.
yeah, I was just different restaurants.
Okay.
Really, yeah.
Nice.
Rented an ATV, and that's how we got around.
Very cool. So you had the ATV for the whole duration of the trip?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that was.
Yeah. No, over there you could just ride ATVs, you know, like
Wow.
yeah.
Because I know
cool.
like I haven't been to Greece, but
Yeah.
every time I look at Greece and other people's videos, I just see like a bunch of
They
hills.
look like they having
Yeah,
a great
no,
time.
it's tough to navigate for sure.
I bet.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, "Hey, how y'all ride an ATV out there?"
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously, Jocelynn, you chose the place. So, like, did you have things in mind already that you're like, okay, when we get there, we have to do this? And were you guys able to do them?
Yeah, everything I wanted to do, we did. There was this
Okay.
area, like this town called Oya. It's where most of the houses are white, but there's a few blue tops, like blue
Oh,
roofs.
I've seen that. Yeah.
That was the main thing I wanted to do, so we saw that, and it was nice. We watched the
Nice.
sunset from there.
Okay. And obviously, I can tell like with the viewers and everyone and here I can feel that there's quite a lot of tension going on. So how did that trip end? or
Arlette, why are you always trying to get to?
let's get to it, because I'm
Always trying
feeling
to
a
get to
lot of vibes right now, and I don't know if it happened on the trip, after the trip, or who wants to start it off?
We had our very first argument on the 29th.
Not you remembering the date.
Well, I'm a very detailed person.
Okay.
You know, I take a lot of notes.
Okay,
I
here
try
we
to
go,
give
y'all. Buckle
perspective,
up.
You know, so it wasn't really a big deal, but should I talk about it or?
I would just like to say that we realized on this trip that we're not as compatible as we thought we were. We just had disagreements, and we just realized that we're great people. We're just not great for each other. And I personally would like to leave it at that.
Even I will be fair, I will be honest. I am to some degree stumped at the decision not to continue. And we've spent a lot of time throughout the argument working through, the reactions, but never really addressing the initial cause.
Okay.
And, it did start off with her just saying she wants to leave. And
the first disagreement, she said,
that was the second disagreement.
Oh, okay.
The first disagreement was when I came to her place.
Austin.
The first time, yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah, I was staying at an Airbnb, but on the last day, I decided we were gonna go over there and pack and stuff. But everything was everywhere, messy. She seemed like she was doing a lot, so I wanted to step in and help. So I was going in to move some shoes around, and then she was reprimanded me, I guess is the way to say it, and just like that would piss her off for me to move stuff around. And so
She might have OCD, or I just feel like that's not enough to want to because you guys are gonna have moments where you're still learning each other, so you're not gonna know her triggers or the things that she doesn't like as of yet, because you're still learning her.
Especially if you don't vocalize these triggers.
Yeah.
And right now, because she's not saying anything, it's making it seem like Eric was not the problem.
Yeah.
And she's not saying anything. She's not vocal with anything. You reprimanded her. If he's helping you clean up and move stuff, and everything's a mess, and he's helping you,
even with her saying I don't feel like it's love bombing. Maybe is it because maybe did Eric show up to her place uninvited?
I'm trying to. Yeah.
Did he pop up in Austin?
But then she said that they planned it. They planned it. So it's I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
Because for right now, it seems like Eric is doing everything right.
Right.
And I don't want to be on Eric's side. I don't want to be on her side. I want to be in the middle. But when one side is not giving you anything, and then when they ask him well, what happened? And you're just oh, we're gonna leave it at that. It's what
your face and your body language is saying more than what.
Yeah, and then who was in the room that you keep looking at, that you keep laughing and bro, come on.
I don't know.
Just that would piss her off for me to move stuff around. And so
did you ask her before you just started moving
well,
stuff?
I didn't.
Okay.
But that's the thing is, I didn't want to make a big deal of it. She asked me to take the trash out.
Okay.
And I did. But I also felt like she had said to me that she would like to keep an open space, a safe space where I could just tell her things in the moment. So I think for me, it was also a good point to test that out. Is it okay for me to tell you that the way you're saying that to me made me feel some type of way?
Yeah, communication.
Right.
So
obviously you guys worked through that
Worked through it, yeah.
You went to Greece afterwards still, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we talked about it a bit at the airport, and then we went on a trip. Everything was great.
I don't think that was
up
a good
until
idea.
I think the fifth day or so. Yeah, I don't want to go into too many details, just out of respect to her as well.
Yeah.
But I think that at some point I also, she wants to go slow, which is fine. I was trying to be respectful of that as a boundary, but I felt that I'd been just going on at her speed for
Okay.
most of the time. So I also wanted to set some boundaries to help me respect her boundaries. So I think that's where the initial communication malfunction occurred, perhaps. And she, to backtrack, I when people argue, everyone argues a certain way.
Yeah.
My way of calming down is to take breaks and move away and relax, write things down, and then come back and talk about them. And I told her this in the beginning. We were trying to figure out our argumentative styles. So when this happened, I took a break and I went to sit on a stoop, and and so while I was there just talking to a friend of mine, she sent me a text that she wanted to leave and asked if I could take her to the airport.
This is in Greece.
Yeah, that was in Greece, like
Okay.
about the 5th day.
One thing I could say where I feel like they probably should have did, they probably should address the problems before they went on a trip, not while they're at the airport. Because I feel like there was still some underlying tension with her that like festered into the trip, and she probably enjoyed herself, but she also could have been just like
She's
faking it to
holding
make
it.
it.
Yeah. It just I want to say it seems like she's like emotionally immature. Like she doesn't know how to like communicate it very well. But then it's also like it sounds to me like from what he said, he has been very open in communicating with it.
Yeah.
And my thing is, he also said on the show many times, everything he's hearing now, I've heard him say before.
Mm-hmm.
And so while he's out on the stoop trying to get his collect his thoughts and his everything, it already has came off that he has done most of the sacrificing. And he's paying for the trip. He's doing the dates. He's flying out to her. He's not making her fly out to him. He's doing all this. It seems like Eric, it seems like Eric has been it feels like a one-sided commitment, truthfully. And it's only because she hasn't told us nothing. So it feels to me, and she's not disagreeing with anything that he's saying either. So it feels like this was just a one-sided thing. And if you wasn't feeling him, you wasn't jacking him, I don't know, bro. I gotta hear the rest.
And so, so I was just like, well, we have an ATV, first of all, so I can't drive you to Greece. But I didn't want to do it. I said, if you want to go, you can go. But I asked her not to go. I said, just take a moment, calm down, relax, and then you can decide later on. So that was kind of where things started spiraling.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Jocelynn, Eric kind of touched on a bit that at one point during the trip, I believe you said on the 5th day, you said that, yeah, I'm leaving, all that stuff. What led you to come to that point?
What led me to come to that point was how we disagreed. We said words that were hurtful to each other. And I held grudges against him, which caused me to be uncomfortable while being there. And I didn't want to be uncomfortable on a vacation when it's supposed to be a good time.
You held grudges.
You got uncomfortable the 5th day? After you spent the whole week there?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you held that, but that's what I said. This seems like a very emotionally childish individual. If y'all have a disagreement, the first sign is when you have a disagreement, when you have decision A and I have decision B, and we clash, and I go, all right, let's step away, let's both just think about it, calm down. If you immediately, once we separate, you start harboring it like, oh yeah, because he chose B, like, I don't jack with that, like, blah, 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 blah. And you start, a grudge is a powerful word. You feel me?
Yeah, because it's like you're holding it regardless of the resolution.
A persistent feeling of ill will or resentment. So it's like, bro, if you're getting to that point where you're holding a grudge against somebody that early or that fast, that says a lot about you, though.
And like listening to Eric and how he talks, he probably could have said some things that may have like been constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And she could have taken it as just pure criticism.
Yeah.
Because he evaluates everything.
Yeah.
The way we handled the situation in general just showed ourselves. Like I showed off, he showed off, and then it just wasn't a comfortable environment to be in, especially for it to be in a different country and we don't really know each other. I just didn't feel at ease being there for more days with him. So I felt like at the time, the best way to get out of an uncomfortable situation is to leave. I'm not saying that was the best decision. Maybe I could have stayed and talked to him and talked it out. But at the time, I did what felt right to me.
Okay. And so you did actually end up leaving?
Yes, I left.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then so after you left, have you guys been in any type of contact, any communication? You have?
Yeah, so after we left, Eric still had to come back to my apartment because we shared a suitcase coming there. So he still came back to my apartment. We talked it out. We hugged. Like, we had like every discussion, every disagreement we had, we talked about off camera, and I've apologized. He's apologized. A lot of things were already discussed. So when he came back to the apartment, like, it was fine. At least in my head, it was fine. I walked him to the door. It was cool. Like, in my head, it was cool. And even afterwards, when he flew back to Las Vegas, I checked on him to make sure he landed safely, making sure he's getting sleep. He told me has more appointments. So we did keep in contact for the day after when we landed back in the States.
Okay, I see here. Jocelynn, you stated, like, you guys were having disagreements. You were saying like hurtful things to one another, all of that. How was it like dealing with those disagreements?
It was aggravating. We were disagreeing on things that we were disagreeing about the boundaries that we both set for each other, which was very childish on both of our ends. But after that, we chose to react off of our emotions at the time. So, in the morning time, I didn't really think that the situation was as bad as it was. But in the morning time, like, Eric had like left, and I think you were doing laundry. I mean, he had things to do. I don't really want to say he was just up and left, but just that entire day, for the most part, we didn't really speak. It was either he was in the room and I was in the living room, or he was out shooting footage, or he was out doing laundry. So we just really...
Because I feel like one thing I never liked is when you guys get into a disagreement. I don't like the concept that because me and you are at ends, my life has to be on pause until you're ready to adjust it, until we're ready to hash it out and adjust it. It's like, bro, if me and you got a disagreement and I got a doctor's appointment at 3:00, I'm gonna go do my doctor's appointment.
Here's the thing with boundaries. These are two people that have set boundaries, and when people do not abide by the boundaries that they set in the way that they want them to, essentially when they don't get their way,
right,
it causes conflict.
Right.
So it's kind of like it was inevitable at that point. When people don't respect your boundaries, or when you have standards and stuff set in place and you're not willing to bend or have wiggle room, and you're not getting your way in the way that you think you should or you're entitled to, this is what happens. Because you're telling me, you're essentially saying it's this, and this, not this, and this. So if I don't come to you by this time, if I don't come to you by 6:00 on the dot, we're not talking about nothing else, period. That's a boundary. And I don't want to hear nothing else.
Okay.
It's the same. That's just what it is. People want their way.
Yeah.
And this is how they want it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't deliver it in that way, then you're gonna have problems because people feel entitled to have their way. So
Right.
that's just what it is.
No, that's a fact.
Really weren't talking on the day after we had that huge disagreement. It was to the point, it was almost as if we were avoiding each other. And it was just weird.
I think she's still uncomfortable about it.
So you got up the next day and just says,
Well,
do your
I
thing?
told her beforehand that I had to do laundry. I'd run out of clothes. I travel with a bag, you know. So I went out to do laundry. I went out running 3 miles up the hill. I was tired. When I came back, I went to bed. But before I went to bed, we'd made a plan, something she wanted to go see about 5 p.m. or so.
okay.
And I'd slept through it. And when I woke up, I asked her, hey, you still want to go do that thing? And she's like, no. So I was like, okay, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to go and shoot some pictures or something. I'd lost the key to the apartment. So I had to go back and look for it. So that's what I did instead. So I was going back to the location where I'd run to. I found the key, I came back. And that's then where we had another set of conversations.
Okay.
Okay, so but you missed you told her you guys were gonna do something at a certain time. I get you were tired, but you also chose to go run that 3 miles. You chose to sleep at that point. But you sleeping through what you were supposed to, that's irresponsible on your part because you could have set an alarm. You know, there's so many things you could have did. You could have told her, hey, wake me up when it's time for us to start getting ready. Stuff like that. So it's like, I can get it why she would be upset with that. But I don't know, bro. This is just, I don't know.
Because
there's too many details just being left out.
kind of called me to the couch and like, hey, what's going on? You know? And so I told her, I was like, nothing is wrong. I'm fine. I just feel like I have to be a bit more distant about cuddling and, you know, kissing, because it feels sometimes when I try to do it, it seems like you're uncomfortable.
Love bombing.
You kind of back away.
Okay.
You know,
Especially
she
that
wants to
comment.
kiss. She doesn't want to make out, you know, things like that. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to be too overbearing. So I'm going to kind of create a little bit of a boundary. Still want to go do things, you know, but she didn't wake me up, and she said that I should have set an alarm. So, you know, I called her passive. I said that was a passive statement because we're in this together. So, you know.
Yep.
Okay, so now we know he's just, okay, so he wanted affection. Because I was thinking he tried to have sex and she didn't want it. You feel what I'm saying? Because how they were wording it. But now I know he tried to kiss and cuddle and she didn't want to do that. She was uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, I never thought that part, but just from the love bombing comment, I assume that Eric was a lot more affectionate than what she was probably comfortable with.
Right. But, and then the thing is, like, holding hands, hugging, kissing, and stuff like that, I think, like, after, like, a month or two of it, a month or two of dating or talking, I feel like that's, like, an appropriate time. But, you know, everybody goes at their own pace.
Everybody's different because you never know what somebody's, like, comfortable with until you have those discussions with them. But it's just, and if you never set those boundaries or make it known early on, a person will never know. They'll just only assume. But assuming it's not going to do you any good either.
Yeah. So I feel like his response of, okay, this is obviously making you uncomfortable. I'm going to back off. I feel like that's a justifiable thing to do, because at the end of the day, what is the answer to that? If I try to kiss you and you back up, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'll try again tomorrow. Like, you feel me? It's going to be like, when you tell me that you're ready to have a kiss, then we'll do that. You get me? Because I don't know what the appropriate response to that is.
Just what he did. He gave her respectful space.
So giving the space was the right thing for him to do.
Yeah, I respect your boundaries. I respect what you're telling me. I'm going to give you space. Hopefully this doesn't, make the situation any more awkward than what it is, but let's enjoy the rest of the trip. Like, that's it. But if she's feeling some type of way and she's not saying anything and people have to play the guessing game on how you feel,
yeah.
I'd rather know how you feel versus continue on with the trip and you're not having a good time because I made you feel some type of way unintentionally. It's just, and if you're not comfortable, like, speaking to me verbally, text it to me, write it to me. Something that you can express yourself and get your point across without you harboring those feelings, because it'll just dampen the mood, not only for the person that you're with, but on yourself. That's too much stress and strain on yourself.
It's like person A does something to person B. Person B backs off, doesn't like it. So person A goes, all right, my fault. I won't do that no more. I'm going to back up. And then person B goes, why are you backing up?
Yeah, and because sometimes people will like set a boundary, or they won't like something. And sometimes they may feel like they offended somebody and feel bad for setting that boundary. And it's like, well, I do like the affection, but I just don't like it all the time.
Yeah.
Type thing, you know? So
it goes back to it goes back to communication at the end of the day. Yeah. It's just communication.
Wake me up. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
So all of this was before she said, I'm leaving?
No, she'd already said she was leaving in the afternoon.
Okay.
So she just decided. I mean, this is literally, I went outside to take a break, and she sent me a text, I'm going to the airport. It was so abrupt. It caught me off guard.
Yeah,
so I was
see?
like, what's this nonsense? The Nigerian in me came in, and I was like, I don't understand what you mean you're leaving. Go take a break and relax. If you want to get an Airbnb, go get an Airbnb. You don't leave,
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
There's nothing
though.
to leave.
So how long did you guys have this trip booked for?
7 days.
7 days, okay. And then Jocelynn, you ended up leaving on the 5th day. Or the 6th day, or what day was it?
Was it the 4th? Was it the 5th day?
6th.
I left on the 6th day? Okay.
You left on the 6th day, yeah.
I see. Okay, so with him, with that thing you guys wanted to do, you didn't want to just like wake him up, or what was going on with that part?
So, we already knew that there was tension before then. Before he took the nap, before everything, like the big argument happened the day before.
That's how I feel.
She wasn't gonna want to go anyway.
She was holding a grudge.
Yeah. I honestly feel like even if she would have woke him up or said or he would have got up on time, she would have said last minute, I really just don't want to go.
Yeah, because she was already texting him, I'm ready to go home. So yeah, it was a lose-lose situation for Eric, realistically. And I'm trying not to say it. That's why I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, I understand. Like, if she really did want to go, I understand. Like, him sleeping through it. It was kind of like, oh well, like if you said you were gonna take me here, your word is everything to me. So get up on time, do what you got to do. But then at the same time, I'm still gonna give you grace because you're still taking me to go do the thing that I want to do. There was still time to do it. It's just you didn't get up on 5 o'clock on the dot for us to leave. So now I'm just gonna be petty about it. But I feel like she would have just said, I don't want to go anyway.
Yeah, I feel like once the argument happened, no matter what he would have did in this situation, the type of person, the fact that she openly stated, I had a grudge, is like, you're already telling me you're the type of person, like, once I do something that you don't like, you're going to hold it against me for as long as possible. And
I understand that because I can be like that at times, and it's very hard to, work through those things, but you gotta practice it.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to hold grudges at all.
No, you're not.
Because you can't forgive nobody if you holding a grudge. That's not forgiveness. And
it also can make your body sick.
Yes.
It can make your body really sick.
So when he went to sleep, I don't know, it's like I don't really know how to explain it. I could have woken him up to answer your question. I could have woken him up. However, it was already talked about what I wanted to do. It was already a time that we set. I don't know. I'm just considerate. So if I would have done that to somebody else or something.
No.
You weren't being considerate. Well, I'll say this. Even though she identified there was a problem and she felt it was her best interest to leave, I don't think you were being considerate of him when you chose to leave, because he spent all this time and money to do something that you wanted to do regardless of how it transpired during the trip and all that kind of stuff, he still, you know, took the initiative in.
Let's keep it a stack. Everything that was discussed in this video was for you.
Yeah.
The trip for you. The visit to your hometown for you. Everything this man has done has been for you. Even your first argument where he said, I was trying to help her clean up. I wanted to help. He wanted to do this for you. And it turned into you reprimanded him, which I get it. Respect my space. Cool. He wanted to be affectionate because you guys are out on dates. You've been on 2 dates and now you guys are on a 7-day vacation out of the country that he paid for. And I don't know if he went for a kiss or he tried to cuddle or he tried to hug, but you said, I don't like this, or you pulled away. So what did he do? He distanced himself to give you the respect towards your boundaries. So he did that for you. Yeah, he slept through his thing, but he still got up and said, hey, do you still want to go do that thing that you said you wanted to do? I'm sorry I slept in. You said no. You wanted to go home early. Like, and then even now we're asking for details and he's still doing things for you. She's going, so Eric, do you want to tell us what really happened? He's going, out of respect for her, I won't say it. He's still doing stuff for you. He said, I didn't want the relationship to end and I'm kind of upset at how it ended because I still wanted to keep going. But he respected ending the relationship for you. This whole conversation has been for you. And now you're going, I was trying to be considerate. Leaving early after I paid for 7 days to go to Greece and you getting upset saying you want to go home at 5 just because I went to go sit outside. That's not considerate.
Yeah, because like you said, you could have went and I could have got you an Airbnb if you was uncomfortable, this and the third. And it's like, and then I do get I do kind of get like the frustration of like, oh, you said you were going to do this for me. And like, you came late with your delivery and stuff like that, or forget, like, I get that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you expect somebody to hold their word and you hold their word in a high regard. And when they don't deliver the way that you would expect, then it's kind of like let down, like disappointment. But, you know, sometimes you got to leave a little room for your expectations to.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm glad you brought it up because I'm going to throw this out there for food for thought, right? If you had planned for something for me, and in the middle of us doing that thing you planned for me, I'm already saying, I don't want to do this. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to dip. Would you immediately think of you still want to continue to plan the next day? Because me, once you start saying, I'm ready to go, my mind is, all right, this is over. We're ending this because she's ready to go. There's no point in me putting all this effort into this no more because my partner's not happy no more. So it's time to dip.
It just depends because I need to do like a temperature check. Like, how you feeling? What's going on? What's wrong? Because what's affecting you today may not affect you tomorrow. But clearly what happened that day affected them that day. And it felt like it was going to lead up to her not being able to continue the trip for one extra day.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the person.
Somebody else would have planned something that they really wanted to. I don't know. I'm just considerate. So if I would have done that to somebody else or somebody else would have planned something that they really wanted to do and they're dependent on me for transportation, I would have made sure that I was present for that moment. And I never woke Eric up ever. I don't wake people up out of their sleep. I would hate for somebody to wake me up out of my sleep. We actually talked about this as well. Like, that's something that we just don't do.
Oh. That's different.
I don't wake people up. That's one thing I don't like. If you oversleep, like you oversleep. Like it wasn't a life or death situation. You know what I'm saying? Like if he overslept, then he overslept. I was upset back in the day. Like we didn't go to something I wanted to do.
So you would rather you not wake him up and then he oversleep and then be upset than to you just drop whatever this is that you're saying it and just go, hey, sorry to wake you up. Did you still want to go to the thing? If he would have woke up and been like, nah, we can go later and went back to sleep, that's cool. But to actively know that y'all could have went at the time that y'all wanted to go, but you actively chose not to wake him up, and then you actively chose to be upset with him that he didn't wake up. That's kind of weird, bro. You feel me? That's weird. I don't know if am I think that's weird. Is that weird?
I get the because you're like that too. Like, you be like, oh well, you're sleeping so well, I don't want to wake you up type thing, because I have trouble sleeping, so you try to let me sleep in. But yeah, like if y'all got stuff y'all need to do, wake that man up.
Yeah,
wake him up,
bro. There's been so many times, dude. There was a time I forgot what I was doing. I was working on something, and I had slept like 2 hours, and I was like, hey, babe, we still got to do this thing. I messed up. I stayed up. Like, get me up. And you still woke me up on time, and we still handled business, because it's just at the end of the day, like, even though you knew I was tired, you did everything to make sure that, like, my tiredness did not affect what we had to do. But you still made sure I got up to go handle business. Because it's like, babe, you can rest when we get done. But you messed up. You stayed up. So... but you still need to go handle your responsibilities.
But I'll make sure everything else is done, so you ain't got to worry about it.
My wife has never, even if I overslept or got close to oversleeping, my wife has, even when we had bad arguments, she always made sure I got up when we needed to get up. There was never a time I came into the room like, why didn't you wake me up? She may not talk to me the whole car ride where we got to go to where we go to, but she gonna at least make sure I get up to get in the car. Like, come on, dude. That's weird.
Okay. Like, it was fine.
So would you say like that was like the last straw for you, him oversleeping?
No, the last straw was the day before. I don't really know. So with me, it's like once my mind is made up on something, it's pretty much made. So when I booked the flight, it was kind of like already like anything he did after that was kind of like, okay, I see.
So if he would have went to the thing, it was pointless.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It was over.
That was the whole vibe that I was getting from when they first talked about it. I'm like, either way, she probably still wouldn't have went, because she already had it set in stone that she was going home. And not only did you just like throw it on him, you just like you booked the flight already. So it's just like, it is.
It was a lose-lose, Eric. This not. I'm not chalking this up on you, bro. I'm gonna keep it a band. This is emotionally immature. Realistically,
I'm leaving too.
On this 7-day trip, or 6, I think you say you left on the 6th. On what day did you realize, yeah, this is it for me, I'm done?
That's a great question. It wasn't. Let me see. Give me a second. I don't really remember what day it was.
This is bad,
when
bro.
It hit me like I'm done.
If I was your lawyer right now and this was a court case, I'm sweating.
It's crazy because like she wants to say it, but she's saying it in her head and she's redacting the statement.
Yeah, because it sounds crazy.
Yeah, or she's just like, nah, I'm not gonna say it. You know?
Yeah. If I was your lawyer and I was trying to fight your case right now, dude, I'm looking at the other lawyer across the table and I'm going,
spare me.
Bro, do y'all want to just settle, bro? Like, can we just agree to settle, dog? Because this is a losing case.
It was just a feeling that I had when I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not arguing anymore. I'm not being upset anymore. It wasn't necessarily this day I got mad. It was just really like a feeling like I'm not
with arguments.
I don't want to feel like this. I don't have to feel like this. So that's really what happened. I don't know what day that was. I really don't know. It was probably the day I booked the flight, to be honest. But I just had a feeling. I'm like, I don't want to argue with this man anymore. I don't want to be uncomfortable in a foreign country with this man anymore. So that's really what it was. But afterwards, I didn't want to have a dating relationship with Eric anymore because I think Eric can still be a great person. So I was hoping that we can have a platonic, just cordial friendship afterwards. I know I didn't want to date him anymore, but I didn't want it to be as if he's out of my life completely.
So you don't want him romantically, but could it be that you wanted him to stay in your life because you like what he can do? Because to me, it seems like you were very comfortable and very happy when he was doing stuff for you.
Because guess what? Friends argue too. So if the argument was the nail in the coffin for you as a dating.
All right, my bad, y'all. We got attacked. But you were saying the nail in the coffin for you as a dating.
I was saying like the nail in the coffin for her was if it was the argument while dating, friends argue too. So if you're like trying to like not be in a relationship with him because you're running from the conflict idea of like y'all might argue again and stuff like that, or conflict, friends argue too. So it's
just let it go.
Yeah.
He is cool. Like, Eric is a cool guy. Like, honestly, he's cool. He has a lot of skills, plays instruments. He's a really cool guy, honestly. He has a lot of great qualities about himself. I just didn't want to date him anymore. So, yeah.
Okay. Eric, anything you want to add to that? So we could just wrap this up.
I take notes, so I have the dates. July 5th was the day we went to dinner. It was the day that we had a conversation. You asked me to tell you what my expectations were of you. I told you that I would like more hugs. I said you're bad at hugs. Remember that?
Affection. Yeah, okay.
So she said, yeah, I'm going to work on that, you know. And I told her that I felt like every time I gave her hugs, maybe she was feeling like it was trying to lead to something else. I'm like, no, the hug is really just a hug. Like, just put your arm around my head.
Genuine affection.
And that's all it needs to be, you know? And so she's like, yeah, I'll do better. And that was that. The dinner was great. The next morning is when I went for the run early. And I wake up early, I go for the run. So when I came back, she wanted to have a conversation that afternoon because she said things were seeming weird and I seemed distant. So I was trying to explain to her why I was distant. First of all, I was tired, but second of all, I'm just trying to give you some space, and I don't want to feel like I'm overcrowding you, essentially. And it was literally.
Pay attention to you. You notice how I said even when he was doing stuff, it was still he was doing stuff with her in mind. But then whenever she addresses or brings up stuff, it's a I, this, me, I feel, I. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was even going to say, because not to like negate how she feels or like what she felt during that time, I was even kind of curious, like, okay, well, how was Eric reacting in the situation for her to like feel super uncomfortable? Like, was he yelling at her? Like, was it like, things like that? But what did I say initially? Eric is a very like detailed person and he's very observant. And the thing that set it off was you don't give enough hugs. You don't give enough affection. That's what I'm assuming. And that's more of like a constructive criticism, like a constructive feedback. And typically people that don't give hugs or that aren't affectionate, they ain't really received one like that,
He was there for a relationship.
Yeah.
She was there to try to see if she wanted a relationship. And that's the difference is people got to understand that there's a big difference between wanting to be in a relationship and wanting to understand the idea or concept of it, or understand if you may want one.
You got to understand, you have to understand yourself enough to know what you can and can't tolerate in a relationship. And if affection is one of those things and arguments are one of those things, that's something
that comes with the relationship.
Yeah, that's something you have to really work on.
Within 20 minutes of that conversation, she sent me the text, "Can you take me to the airport?" So it came out of nowhere, literally.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Well, after this trip, did you guys, I know you said, did you guys communicate at all after this trip, or was she left and that was it? I think you had mentioned you guys shared a suitcase, so eventually you had to see him again. So how did that happen?
It was cool. Like, honestly, so from everything that we just expressed to us getting back to Austin, we had conversation. Everything seemed fine. We came to understanding that we both said things that didn't need to be said. We both did things that didn't need to be done. Like, we've had conversations and everything was fine in my eyes. I thought everything was fine. When we got back to Austin, we talked about the trip. We said our goodbyes. He got his stuff, walked him to the door. He left. Yeah, and the next day he took a flight. I checked on him. I was like, "Hey, are you at the airport? Did you make it there on time?" He was like, "Yeah." It was just regular. It was regular conversation, as if you're checking in on a person who's taking a flight. That's really what it was. I made sure he landed.
There's
But
no real
meanwhile, I
empathy.
was like, why are you checking in on me after you've just walked away from me? You know, like I'm like,
Yeah,
the
that's-
thing was weird to me because I was like, if this is a simple disagreement two people can have, we've apologized to each other, so we continue. It's two arguments. It's not enough to decide you don't want to speak to someone anymore.
So in your head, after that trip, and after she was checking in on you, you were still in the thought process that you guys were still dating.
After the I'm sorry, I forgive you, I forgive you. I thought, okay, yeah, we're back on track. We've sorted it out.
Okay.
So
And then, so how did you find out that you guys are no longer dating?
well, she sent me some pictures to edit. I edited the pictures. I sent them back to her. We, she went to London, which we by the way, we had a whole day because she booked the trip at 6 p.m. on the 6th. So we had still the whole day to spend together. We were sitting on the couch. We were cuddling on the couch.
This
finally.
is in Austin?
No, this was still. This
so
was
you're
the day after.
backtracking back to
I'm
Greece.
backtracking. Yeah, so she's already had a decision to leave. She's already bought the tickets. There's nothing we can do about that.
Okay.
We've apologized to each other. She's more calm. I'm more calm. So from that point on, I'm like, okay, well, maybe everything's fine.
Okay.
So the next day, when the day
When she
the
leaves.
6th, the day she's leaving, we're still cuddling on the couch. Like we watched a movie together. We went to breakfast. So that's where the confusion is, because it's like, if you're that angry, why are you so comfortable still?
Because she's angry at you and don't want to be with you, but she still enjoys
What comes with
what
you.
comes with you. That's why even right now, I don't want to date him no more, but I still want him in my life. Yeah, she enjoys what you were doing. She don't enjoy you. So it's just at that point, Eric, just get away from that, dog. Get away from that. Cause
it's my problem is she can't see it from his perspective
at all.
and that I feel like it's very dangerous to be in a relationship with somebody and you can only see like your way
How
of
you feel.
thinking. If you can't empathize or put yourself in that person's shoes to kind of understand or gauge where they're coming from,
You don't need to be in a
always
relationship.
closed-minded in the relationship.
Being next to me, still cuddling with me. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it just creates a lot of
So
confusion
then,
for me.
from Austin to Las Vegas, she said, obviously, she's checking on you, make sure you get there okay. In your head, everything's still good.
No, when I got to her apartment, I had to ask her one last time. I'm like, tell me straightforward. Are we still good? Are we not good? Are we not dating?
Yeah.
She's like, no, I have no interest in further dating. So I was
Okay.
like, all right, sounds good. I won't bring it up anymore.
Got
and
it.
from
So
that point
that
on,
was the last point.
Yeah.
from that point on, yeah, it was done. But the next morning, she's still checking on me on my flights. So again, see what I'm saying? I'm like, if we're done,
Don't talk to
why
me
are
no
you
more.
checking on me?
I mean, she said she thinks you're a cool person.
I understand, but
You're a human
I'm
being
not
that she
I'm not
cared for at one
looking I'm not
point.
looking for no friends. I got plenty female friends that are just
Right.
my friends.
Okay.
Right.
So it's like, if we're not dating,
Then there's
Like-
no.
So you want to just
Cut the losses
cold
and move
turkey,
on.
That's it. We're done.
yeah, which is what I tried to do. I just didn't respond anymore, and I was just just letting it fizzle out. It's only been a month. That's not, anyone can recover from that.
Yeah.
There's no hard emotional investment.
Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously we.
It's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well, that's pretty much everything I had. Any final thoughts on your end? No, Jocelyn's like, no.
You did a great job of
All
saying
right,
a lot
so
without
any
saying a
upcoming
lot.
projects
So-
that we should be on the lookout from either one of you, Jocelynn?
No, I don't have any upcoming projects coming up. Nothing.
She said, I'm gonna stick to my 9 to 5. That's it.
Yeah, I got a 9 to 5. That's it. That's all I got going
Hey, we
right
love
now.
that too.
Yeah.
And then Eric, what about for yourself?
Nothing. Just still on the road, traveling, doing my training.
Okay.
Yeah, simple.
All right. Well, I do thank you both for coming on today, talking. I know this was probably a little bit tough to discuss and everything, but we do thank you for coming on, speaking your truths, all that good stuff. And I wish you both the best in the future and whatever you may get into.
Thank you.
so this was this is why it is important to understand that, like, people need to understand serious dating versus just casual dating. This is a prime example of it. And the thing people got to understand is, if your partner is dating with intentions of trying to make this a serious thing, you got to be ready to handle the ups and downs that come with the serious part. But if you're just dating people and you don't know, I don't know if this is my type, I don't know if this is the guy I want, or if she's my type or whatever, you got to understand, when you're doing that and you're in the I don't knows and maybes, you're not serious dating.
That, and it's when you're single, it's hard not to be selfish.
Yes.
Because when you're single, all you have to worry about is yourself. But when you choose to take on another person, all those things of like, I do this, I do that, I like this, I like that, those things are still okay, they're fine, but you still have to make space for that I to turn into a we, a us,
or like
that, like, that's it.
Yeah, Shorty, I'm sorry, you're a fraud. I'm putting fraud on you. You're frauding. Eric, I'm sorry that's just how it goes, bro. But
it's just like the other girl, like,
yeah, and I know there's gonna be people gonna try to tell, well, if that's how she felt. And the thing people gotta understand is, we do not operate off of feelings anymore. That I feel, her feel. I don't care about nobody's feelings no more. It's all about what is reality. I feel like he was doing this, but what was his actions? I feel like he could have did this, but what did he actually do? I feel like I'm so sick of that feel. Because guess what with feelings? They're temporary. They're temporary. You feel he was making you uncomfortable, but then you go, yeah, but I want him to still be in my life. I still want to be his friend. If I'm making you uncomfortable, you don't need no part of me. Period. Financial, maybe spiritual. You said, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry, but you still held the grudge. Because you felt like you needed to. Like, get out of here with that, dog. And that's a hard thing to, like, not operate in. It's a hard thing to, as a female, it's hard to not operate through our emotions all the time, because we're emotional beings and we're built to be that way for a reason, yes. But there still has to be, you have to decide between your reality and, feelings. Yeah. So, all right, y'all. Let us know how y'all felt. Peace.